Now, guys, the Ghanaian cocoa industry is in a lot of trouble right now, and the farmers have come out to say that cocoa production may collapse in the next 5 years. And what are the reasons behind this? This is what we want to explore in this particular video because this is coming directly from the farmers, as we may see. Now, in the past, the industry has been facing numerous problems. The cocoa industry has been facing numerous problems in the country, and that has to do with problems like galamsey. What is known as galamsey is the illegal mining in the Ghanaian industry. Some farmers, of course, have been abandoning their cocoa farms and even cutting them down and resorting to illegal mining, of course, for gold in the country. Now, cocoa is one of the most important industries. Is one of the major foreign exchange earners of the country as Ghana. Ghana has three major exports earning goods which are earning major export earners, and that is gold, oil, and cocoa. But it turns out that oil, which is crude oil, and gold, the local people do not earn anything from there. If you read certain books which have been written, they say that Ghana earns approximately 7% from its gold, and the rest is taken away by, of course, the foreign companies. They are the ones who own the industry. Foreign companies, of course, such as Newmont, which it comes from Canada, and Anglo American. These are the companies that are controlling the mining sector in the country. And of course, we will not talk about oil. Now, then, cocoa remains the only industry where the local people, of course, can gain something apart from the illegal mining, because majority of the gold, of course, is taken through the consortiums and corporations which are international in nature. But right now, as we see, even the cocoa industry, which the local people depend on, of course, not the processing. Majority of the governments have not, pursued the processing part of the crop to its entirety, so that people can gain maximum value from the industry. Let us look at what the farmers in Ghana are saying about the cocoa industry currently. So the farmers are saying, this is what the farmers are saying, and that the production will collapse in the next 5 years. And such an important, of course, industry requires a lot of, investment. And what we are seeing is that there has not been much investment from the government itself, even though there is relatively good investment, but it is not, a lot, which you can say that is enough to sustain the industry. Like, for example, mechanizing, for example, the harvesting, as we have seen, the technology is advancing rapidly. There's a need even to adopt the agriculture industry on not only in Ghana but all across the African continent. Because to be honest, the world is growing. The world is growing. So if the world is growing and is growing rapidly, then there's a need for us as Africans also to catch up to that development, to which the world, that speed at which the world is moving. Now let us look at the farmers and what they are saying. So the farmers are saying that the farmers, through the National Association of Cocoa Farmers, have warned that if authorities fail to address the challenges facing the cocoa sector, it could face extinction within 5 to 10 years. This is what the farmers have said within the country. The president of the association, Mr. Stevenson Anane Boate, said that the practice of illegal mining, regularly known as galamsey, in cocoa growing communities has created serious challenges for them, with increased water pollution, competition for land, especially for illegal miners, and reduced cocoa production. All right. So uh, you know, uh, cocoa farmers, he bemoaned having challenges managing even the aging cocoa trees, weeds, pests, diseases, and declining yields, which have had a negative impact on their income and livelihoods. So in the 2022-2023 season, per available data released by the Cocoa Board. Cocoa Board is basically the organization, is the state organization which manages all the cocoa grown in the country. Sometimes it gives farmers seeds, sometimes it helps them with pesticides, and also buys these crops from them. So it normally works with the farmers to make sure that they increase the production. So they reported that there was a loss of approximately 150,000 metric tons. So 150 metric thousand, 150 tons, 150,000 tons actually is a lot of weight, is a lot of cocoa to be lost, and they lost this cocoa due to the smuggling, illegal gold mining activities. Additionally, the cocoa swollen soot virus ravaged about 500,000 hectares of cocoa farmland. So the industry in itself is facing a lot of challenges. He highlighted that the leaders in this country have failed to roll out initiatives to address the challenges, wondering why the cocoa farmers are not empowered to help resolve the crisis. So basically, the Cocoa Board, what it does, it helps to empower the farmers, but maybe the farmers feel that they are not, empowered entirely, or even as they should. And of course, that also, goes into the questions of paying the right prices, because one of the issues which they mentioned is the smuggling. So some of them, maybe they may be smuggling the crop out with the hopes that if they sell it maybe in Cote d'Ivoire, because Ghana is close to Cote d'Ivoire, they are close to each other. Maybe there is hope that the industry could give them better prices there. So these kind of activities are threatening, of course, the industry, but basically, majorly, the government is not intervening, as desired. So this, it becomes a huge problem for the industry. Now let us look at the past, how the industry, of course, has been, because this is not the first time the industry is facing these particular problems that we are seeing. But even in the past, we have seen that it has been reported, in the news, and this is March, actually 2024 March. This news of today is coming out. What we first presented is coming out, a few days ago, which was yesterday. But this was reported in March 2024, around the beginning of the year. They say that Ghana's export earnings have stagnated to $2.8 billion as a contribution of cocoa drops by $200 million. The latest assessment, of Ghana's external sector development shows that the country earned $2.8 billion from its major exports in the first 2 months of 2024. So, on a year-on-year basis, however, the value of exports did not see any significant growth from the same 2.8 billion posted of February, the previous year, in February the previous year. The figure, if compared to the 2.5 billion the country spent on importing goods for the same period, resulted in a trade surplus of about $400 million. Per the data from the Central Bank, or the Bank of Ghana, Ghana's summary of macroeconomic and financial data for March 2024, the positive trade balance, accounted for 0.5 or 0.5% of GDP, or 0.5 of GDP, which is a decline from 1.1%, recorded in February 2023. So this is what basically they are mentioning. Of course, they mentioned gold and and oil and other things, but we know that the gold and oil, the Ghanaians don't control that sector. It's foreigners who control the sector. So the sector really is facing some serious challenges, but it all has to do with how the government intervenes in the sector, because this is a public crop, this is a public good. You can say that this is a good that is for the whole country, because it benefits for the whole country, since it brings in foreign exchange. And of course, that also has to do with the fact that the industry should be domesticated in a way that we should export, refined cocoa, processed cocoa, instead of exporting beans, as is majorly the case when it comes to our African country. So the industry really, is facing problems, and therefore, this is the reason why the farmers are calling out the government to come and intervene. As you are seeing, this is Bloomberg, of course, which reported this. And add to this the fact that the World Bank and, of course, the International Monetary Fund also are in the country. They are in the country, of course, to interrupt how things are run, and of course, to give directions on how we should run. It in itself spells a lot of problems for the country, and the fact that we will not be able to control the industries ourselves, but to be directed by the International Monetary Fund. And all they can do, of course, if you go and borrow the loans, is that they will tell you to run in the direction which they tell you, and that's the direction of the multinational corporations, which are, of course, processing this cocoa, and of course to discourage the processing of the cocoa itself in your country, so that the farmers, can be able to benefit. But what do you think? What do you think, you, the viewers of Connect Africa, about what is happening in Ghana? In the past, of course, the president had told us that he was banning the export of beans. Of course, this is what was going on across especially in the corners, in the Pan-African corners, that he was going to ban the export of cocoa beans. But that's what we are not seeing actually. Most of the beans in the country are exported, to Switzerland and all those countries which are making the chocolate. So what do you think, and what do you think that we should do to contribute to this process of making Africa better, with this kind of approach, and what the government is doing in the country? Please, my name is Kwame Gonza, and I want to thank you very much for being part of the platform, for being part of Connect Africa. Please continue to support Connect Africa, and like the channel, please. Like the channel, like the video itself. We have 25 to 30 people here. Please like the video and give it a boost, so that other people can find it and be able to understand what is going on the ground, in Ghana and the whole African continent. We want to thank you once again, and my name is Kwame Gonza. Please continue to be with us.